For the state of Michigan, they will have the supplies that you need for your skills displayed on a table, and you will just go and gather your supplies from that table. So to begin with, we sanitize our hands. And you have to actually sanitize your hands. You can't say sanitize your hands. So you need enough to cover all surfaces and rub until dry. So the skill that I will be demonstrating is female peri-care with catheter care. Now just understand, at the state of Michigan, they no longer require you to do peri-care with the catheter care, but I continue to demonstrate peri-care with catheter care because if you're being surveyed by the state surveyors, you will be expected to do peri-care right along with it. So the supplies that you'll need for female peri-care with catheter care is 6 washcloths, 2 towels, a barrier for the table, and a barrier that goes up underneath her when you are ready to dry her, an incontinence pad, a disposable incontinence pad called a chucks, a bath blanket, basin, soap, and a linen bag. Knock, 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 come in. Hi, Mrs. Jones. I'm Linda, your CNA, and I thought I'd provide peri-care for you. Would that be okay? As well as clean your catheter. Would that be okay? Oh, yes, that's fine. Great. Great. How are you, Mrs. Smith? Oh, wonderful. Great, great, great. So again, begin by washing my hands with some sanitizer, cleaning hands with sanitizer, enough to make sure we cover all surfaces, and keep rubbing until dry. All right, Mrs. Jones, Miss Smith, excuse me. While I provide care for Mrs. Smith, I'll be there to take care of you in just a moment. While I'm here, I'm gonna raise up my side rails. This could be a way of ensuring safety, but another way is to have them move closer to you before you roll them over. Mrs. Jones, is it okay if I remove your personal items? Oh yeah, sure. Great. And let's just set up your barrier. Keep that table nice and dry. Take out my supplies, bath blanket, disposable incontinence pad, gloves. I'll be right back, Mrs. Jones. I'm gonna go get some water, okay? Okay. To begin with, I'll need a clean paper towel to turn on the faucet. I'm going to check the water temperature, 105 degrees. If necessary, get a bath thermometer to make sure it is 105 degrees. When filling the basin, I want to make sure I hold the basin and I do not place it in the sink. The sink is considered contaminated with a lot of germs, and you don't want to cross-contaminate the residence basin with the germs that are found in the sink. Another clean paper towel, turn off the faucet. Just dry my hand. Okay, Mrs. Jones, before we get started, I want you to check the temperature of this water to make sure that it's comfortable. Sure. So, temperature is fine. Awesome. Let's raise your bed to a comfortable working height, somewhere between my hips and my waist. How are those grandkids? Oh, they're just absolutely amazing. No, I can't believe that they're graduating from college already. They're so amazing. Yes, they are. Tip off the old block, right? Okay, sanitize. Let's go ahead and pull this top blanket down. Just get it out of the way. It's kind of bulky, you know. We're going to be very careful, Mrs. Jones, that we do not pull out that catheter. Apply your bath blanket. We're going to put it right on top of your top sheet. Put it up here. And then pull down your top sheet. Hold on to this for me, please. Sure. way we can maintain her privacy, keep her covered. All right, Mrs. Jones, let me sanitize my hands and apply some gloves. Jones, I'm going to have to bring you a little bit closer to me so I can roll you over. That's a safety measure, so you don't roll off the bed. Okay? Okay, Mrs. Jones, come toward me a little bit. And then let's lift up this arm so you don't roll onto that arm. And using your hips and shoulders, we're going to roll you over. I'm also going to protect this tubing so I don't pull out the catheter. So I'm just going to anchor it up against your leg like this as I'm turning it. We don't pull it out. Okay, make sure your head is on the pillow for comfort. You're in the center of the bed for safety. If I bend your top leg like this, helps you to prop yourself up. Okay. Now we're going to apply our disposable incontinence pad. Next, our towel that we're going to use to dry you with. Mrs. Jones, back this way, please. Sure. I only want to expose the area that I'm going to be working on, so I only need to expose on my side the top upper thigh, and then of course the perineal area. All right, so we only want to use enough soap to get it clean, not too much, just a little, because soap can be very irritating. Just a little bit of soap. Make my mitt. This is the best way to make a mitt. Come underneath, bring that edge up. Make sure your thumb is holding it in place, and then tuck. Nice tight mitt. To avoid pulling on this tube, I'm going to pause. So when I go down the center, I'm going to pause and pick back up and continue down the center, so I'm not pulling on the tube. So here we go. Spread the inner labia open. I'm going down the center. Pause, then continue down the center with my index finger. Use my middle finger and go to the side furthest away from me, and then clean the side closest to me. Pause, and then continue down the side that's closest to me. Now I can remove my hand, flip the washcloth. Now I'm ready to clean the outer labia. Again, go down the center with my index finger, pause, continue down the center. Different fingers, side furthest away from me, and sometimes you may have to keep on this side until you get the entire area clean. Just depends on how big the person is. And then the side closest to me, working around that tube. You never want to remove your hand to move the tube, because then you'll have to start all over again. You want to keep your hand there and just work around that tube. Now I need a clean washcloth to rinse. You will never put that dirty washcloth back into this basin of water. So rinsing the exact same way, 3 strokes. So center, continue, pause, and then continue down the center. Switch fingers, the side furthest away from me, working around that tube. Switch fingers, the side closest to me. Pause, and then kind of work around that tube. Flipping my washcloth, and now rinsing the outer labia. Center, switch fingers, side furthest. Switch fingers, side closest. That's rinsing. Now I'm ready to clean the tube. So again, just a little bit of soap. I like to make a V in my washcloth so I can totally encircle that tube. So make a V, and then I can totally encircle the tube as I'm cleaning. I made my V. I start by cleaning one last time near the meatus, the opening into the urinary tract. Then move my hand a little bit and then hold onto the tubing so I do not pull it. And then clean down at least 4 inches or until the catheter is clean. Rinsing the exact same way. Now for the state of Michigan, they only require that you do the catheter. They don't require that you do peri-care. But if you're working in a facility and the state, or you're being surveyed by state surveyors, you would be expected to clean the perineal area, the peri area, as well as the catheter. So now I'm patting dry the entire area and then pat dry the tube. Now my hands are dirty, so before I touch her cover or anything else, I want to take off my gloves and, if practical, sanitize my hands, apply new gloves, and then cover her up. Okay, Miss Jones, I'm going to have you scoot toward me so I can roll you over. Let's bring your arm up, or just have you scoot toward me first, and then bring your arm up. Make sure I anchor this tubing so I don't pull it out. And then roll you over onto your side. Making sure you're in the center of the bed for safety and your head is on the pillow for comfort. So prop you up with your arms and your legs. Now we're ready to clean your buttocks and your anus. Again, just a little bit of soap. Making my mitt. Cleaning the buttocks. Then flip the mitt. And starting at the perineum, I'm passing over the anus, wiping from front to back. Ready to rinse now? Rinse and rinse from front to back, and now I'm ready to dry. Remove my barrier, remove my disposable incontinence pad. Look up, Mrs. Jones. Now I'm ready to take off my gloves, sanitize my hands, Mrs. Jones, let's roll back. Let's make sure we get you back in good body alignment. Bring your gown back down to your legs. And then make sure we keep you covered. Bring up your top sheet, and then we pull down the bath blanket. It's a way to keep you covered. Check to make sure that there's no dependent loops. So this is a dependent loop, and I want to coil this not up underneath your leg, because then it will be a source of pressure that can lead to skin breakdown, but coil it on the side of the bed so that the urine is draining directly into the bag. Okay, Mrs. Jones. Go. Here's your call light. brakes are still on. Let's go ahead and lower that bed. Sanitize my hands, apply some gloves, and then go and clean your equipment. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'll be right back. Okay, first I'm going to pour the dirty water into the dirty toilet. Place a barrier when I'm done on the back of the toilet. Clean paper towel to turn on the faucet. Throw that away. And start cleaning. So wash. Being very careful not to let this basin touch the inside of the sink or anything that's in this bathroom. This bathroom is considered contaminated, so we don't want to cross-contaminate. Dry. Always make sure you guys thoroughly dry the basin, so we're not putting your personal belongings into a wet basin. If I made a mess on the toilet, this would be the time while I'm still dirty and wearing gloves that I can wipe down the toilet. Okay? All right, so I'm going to take off my gloves, and for this purpose, I'm just going to sanitize my hands. But at the end of the skill, I will wash my hands before I exit the room. That is the new requirement for the state of Michigan. So again, make sure I have enough. Clean paper towel to turn off the faucet. Pick up my barrier. Use this to pick up my barrier. Flush my toilet. I'm just going to put your things away. Okay? Your personal items back within reach. Linen looks nice and neat. It's not dragging the floor on either side. Open up these curtains. Lower the side rail. There we go. So, Mrs. Jones, is there anything else I can do for you? No, I'm fine. Mrs. Smith, is there anything I can do for you? No, I'm fine. Okay, well, I need to go into the bathroom and wash my hands, and then I'll be leaving. So I'll be right back. I will now demonstrate hand washing. So you want to go into the bathroom and first turn on the faucet with a clean paper towel. You want to avoid transferring whatever germs are in your hands onto the sink. So turn it on. You want the water to be hot enough to kill off the germs, but not too hot where you won't keep your hands underneath the water. Throw away your towel, paper towel. You first start off by rinsing your hands thoroughly. You want to be able to generate a good lather as well as remove as much of the germs as possible. Get a generous amount of soap, and using friction, you begin washing your hands for 20 seconds. So whatever you need to do to time yourself for 20 seconds, some people sing Old McDonald's or Happy Birthday song a couple of times. That you are washing for 20 seconds. So I'm just interlacing my fingers. Now I want to clean around the cuticles right here. So I'm just going to work the soap down into my cuticles. Then to wash underneath my fingernails, I can either scratch my fingers onto the palms of my hands to work the soap underneath my fingernails. So this is one way you can do it. Or you can take one nail and clean underneath the others. So you only need to use one method, so whichever method is best for you. Okay, just want to make sure I get my knuckles. And then you want to clean your wrist. One hand grasp above your wrist on each arm. So I'm making sure that I'm not touching the sink. Everything in this bathroom is considered contaminated. So you don't want your hands to touch the inside of the sink. You don't want your uniform to touch the inside of the sink. So I'm being very careful in rinsing my hands. Ideally, if the sink was deep enough, I would just rinse my hands with my fingers pointing downward. But my sink is very, very shallow. So you want to make sure you don't flip the water off your fingers so you don't aerosolize anything, any germs that may be in the sink. And then with the paper towel, you want to first clean your fingers on both hands. You don't want to go back to your fingers. Then you want to clean your hands, or dry your hands, both hands. And then last but not least, your wrist. Make sure that you just dispose of the paper towel immediately. Then with the clean paper towel, turn off the faucet. Do not crumple up this paper towel. Just turn it off and immediately throw it in the garbage. And if you had lotion, this would be the time that you would apply lotion. One thing I failed to mention, that if you had a watch, you want to make sure you take the watch off before you even provide care for the resident, because it may be difficult to clean a watch that has been contaminated. If you had a ring on, you want to leave the ring and work the soap up underneath the ring during hand washing. Okay, ladies, well, if there's nothing else that I can do for you, I'll see you in 2 hours when I do my rounds.